Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Q&A about everything about our wonderful celebration of disability festibility, which is coming up on October 4th. I'm Sharon Spurlock, the Senior Director of Family Education at the St. Louis ARC, and I'm really happy to host this event with you today. I'm going to give you a visual description of myself as we are celebrating Disability Pride. I have short blonde hair and glasses, approaching retirement age, and I'm wearing a blue patterned shirt today. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm really happy to have a great group of people from the Festibility Board joining us today. Full disclosure, I'm one of them. So yay for Festibility. I'm going to start off and do some introductions, and I'll just go around my screen. So Emily, you're first up.
Well, hi. So good to be here with all of you. My name is Emily Underwood. I am a middle-aged white woman with brown, wavy, long hair. I'm wearing blue glasses, a purple shirt, and a black blazer. And I am with the Missouri History Museum and also with the Festibility Board. And I am very excited to be here with you today.
Thank you, Emily. And Annie.
Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Donnell. I am also a board member with Festibility, and I also am with Achilles St. Louis, an adaptive and running and walking and tandem cycling program. I'm glad to be with you today.
And Sean doesn't have his camera on yet, but many of you know Sean Gold from previous Q&As. He is a young Black gay man with a disability whose desire is to enlighten, inform, and support others in his hometown and beyond. Sean's an advocate for people with disabilities, an author, a public speaker, and has won Microsoft certification for web design. Sean was the president of the Coalition in Truth and Independence from 2020 to 2023, and in 2021 he published his debut book, Pure Love, or Is It? Sean's been the media director of Festibility since 2023 and is currently our vice president, and he is on the board of St. Louis Publishers Association. And last year when we had Festibility, Sean had just published his second book, The ABCs of Disability, and he'll have that again at Festibility this year to sign and to share with all of you. So we are all very engaged with Festibility. It's been happening for about 6-7 years with a little bit of a gap in the middle during COVID, where we weren't able to have a live festival. Emily, can you tell everybody a little bit about what is Festibility?
Absolutely. So Festibility is a one-day celebration of the disability community, and it's got resource tables, all kinds of activities, performances, food trucks. It's fun for all ages. We're extra thrilled this year because this year is the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was really the inspiration for the original Festibility event. We used to hold it in July. It has been moved because July just is too hot in St. Louis for outdoor events. But we are excited that we're able to mark that important anniversary this year by hosting Festibility once again at the History Museum.
I love that. Sean, I don't know if you're able to get to your AAC device yet, but I wanted to know why you think it's important to celebrate disability. And Annie, if you want to comment on that while Sean's typing, I'll include both of your answers.
Sure. It's important to celebrate disability because this event we get to celebrate all different types of disabilities, all different people get to come together, and a bunch of disability organizations all get to come together too to celebrate and also, you know, celebrate how far we've come in terms of disability advocacy and, you know, still the work that is yet to come.
Excellent answer. Yeah, I love that. And I think so many times people don't understand that there is an entire culture around disability, and that we all need that space to be with people that we identify with, and being able to celebrate all the kind of interesting things that that come out of that culture, including arts and entertainment and books and resources and all, and sports, all that good stuff. So Sean is still typing. I'm going to flip over and just ask you, Annie, while Sean's typing, to talk a little. Oh, I've got his answer. So I'm going to ask you about accessibility features as soon as I read that Sean thinks it's important to celebrate disability because we are mainly invisible in the world, but we have so many amazing accomplishments and important history that needs to be shared. Kudos. Agreed. Yeah, I think a lot of times these pride festivals are held by groups that do tend to be unseen or underseen. So I really appreciate your perspective on that. All right, Annie, back to you. We're trying to make this festival accessible for everybody. Can you tell our future guests a little bit about what they can expect?
Yes, so we have quite a variety of accessible features at the event that you can expect. So one, we will have ASL, American Sign Language interpreters, general ASL interpreters that will be there walking around, can assist signing at all different areas of the event. We'll also have ASL, American Sign Language interpreters at the food trucks to assist with signing. And also, we will have ASL at the performances in the auditorium, which Emily will talk about later. And then moving on, another feature that's exciting this year from the Center for Human Services, we have a trailer that will be at the event. It has a sensory space and it also has an accessible adult changing table in the accessible bathroom, which is exciting that we have this available. We also have at the History Museum other accessible restrooms all throughout the building. And there will also be volunteers. We hope to have a lot of volunteers at the event. Some volunteers can help if anyone needs assistance walking around, knowing where things are at the event. And also, the History Museum has the Wayfinder feature. So if you have your smartphone or assistive device, you can use the wayfinding app. And the History Museum is equipped with all of those resources as well. So those are just some accessible features that will be present at the event.
Thank you. I'm going to tag on to that, Annie, and say that one of the things that I thought was really cool when I started working with Festibility was volunteer coordination. And I learned some things about accessibility from that role. One of the nice things that we offer is volunteers at the food trucks who are also there to help with ordering and carrying food. If you're using a wheelchair and you have a hard time being heard from up high where the vendors are, you can make sure that your orders are getting heard. We can help carry your food to a place to rest and relax and eat, which is really fun. We have volunteers out by the main parking area so that if you're traveling back and forth from parking, there's some assistance there. And there's both sides of the museum have accessible parking so that we're trying to make that available to people that truly need it so that they can easily get into the building. I think Emily's going to jump in here too.
I am. I wanted to just tack on to that because Sharon, you mentioned the accessible parking. So yes, both of our lots on the sides will be reserved for accessible parking only. And then we are also arranging a couple of shuttles. So if those lots, because they aren't big, they do fill up. So if you need to park farther away from the museum, there are the lots across from the visitor center near the tennis near the tennis courts that will also have a shuttle service going back and forth. And of course, we always encourage people to ride Metro as well. That's a great way to get to the event. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, Metro was really great support last year, and I think that they are really prepared to help our guests get to the park and get there safely and quickly. So I hope you're all planning to come and use some public transportation to get there. We talked a little bit before about storytelling, and Sean's going to tell us a little bit about the storytelling area at the museum. We're going to have an area in the lower level where we will be able to introduce kids to books on disability, including Sean's alphabet book. He's going to have a table upstairs by the gift shop selling those. There's also a free library, so kids can choose a book and take a book home with them, which will be really a fun way to celebrate the day. Thank you, Sean, for adding that information in the chat. All right, Emily, this is a big one. I like the live entertainment component of the
Yeah.
event. Let's talk about who we've lined up. I personally think this is one of the best entertainment lineups we've ever had.
I'll give you the entertainment lineup, and then if you let me tack on a few other activities and just let people know kind of things that are happening in the day. But we have performances lined up starting at 1:00 p.m. Those are going to be in the auditorium on the lower level of the museum. And we've got 4 performances lined up for you that we're very excited about. The first is a sing-along with Celia. So they'll be singing. You can move as you are able and just enjoy a little bit of community time at the beginning. Then we're going to follow that up with a performance by Sequig. He was at last year's event, so if you attended, you may have seen him. He is a really talented, wonderful rapper who raps about his experiences with autism. And then the third performance is going to be by Ignite Theater. They're going to do a musical theater performance with their group of young performers. And then we're going to close out with First Run Theater. They're going to do a reading of a very short play called Heavenly Escort. That sounds heavy, but it's actually very funny. And the performance will actually be in ASL. So the main actors will be using American Sign Language, and there will be voice actors off to the side to interpret what the primary actors are doing on stage. So that's going to be a really cool lineup. Like I said, those are going to start at 1:00 and they'll wrap up around 2:15. So that's about an hour, a little over an hour block of performances. We'll also have a community art space with Artists First. You can meet meet service dogs and pet them with Duo Dogs. We'll have voter registration. Voters of St. Louis will have a selfie station where you can take your picture. And I also wanted to mention there will be a performance outside at the beginning of the event by the Dynamic Trio, which is part of the Different Dynamics organization. And there will also be a beep ball demonstration outside where you can go try yourself to see how well you do at hitting a beep ball across the lawn from the museum. So that's the lineup. Lots of things to do.
Annie, can you describe for folks what beep ball is in case they don't know what we're talking about?
Yes. So the beep baseball, beep ball for short, it's basically you have kind of a heavier, it's kind of looks like a softball, but in it it beeps, and then and you only have 2 bases, first and third base, and basically the pitcher is on your team, and they try to match where your swing is, and they basically time it to match your swing, and then if you get a hit, then you go to one of the bases. You have 4 strikes instead of 3 for an out, and if you get the ball in the field, if someone gets it, that's before the person gets the big base, and those bases beep also. It's a different sound than the ball. So that's kind of how it works.
Cool. I think that's one of the things that's so great about Festibility, both the beep ball and this deaf theater production, that they center the way activities are done around disability specific support. So it's not people with disabilities trying to fit in. It's people of all abilities trying to utilize resources that have really been designed for somebody that's either deaf or blind. And I think that's a really cool experience for allies.
Yeah.
I'm going
And
to
just one more thing,
yes,
real
go
quick.
ahead, Amy.
For the beep ball, everyone wears blindfolds typically, so everyone's on the same level playing field, so anybody can play, even if you have full vision. So
Awesome. I love that. I would be terrible with or without a blindfold, so it won't make any difference for me. I'm going to talk a little bit about the start off of Festibility, because this is something that the St. Louis ARC takes the lead in, and we're really, really proud to bring you the Disability Pride Parade. So if you want to start your Festibility Day by marching and parading and celebrating your unique fabulousness, you can join us at the Forest Park Visitor Center Center between 9:15 and 9:30. We'll have some materials there to make signs, but you can bring your own signs, bring your own banners and pom-poms, wear shirts and come as a group with matching outfits, whatever feels like disability pride to you. We want you to come and show out and be there. It's a very short parade. We walk from the visitor center to the history museum, walk, roll, and any other way you can get down there. Everyone is welcome to come and participate, and it's really fun. So we're hoping that STL City is going to have some drummers that'll join us for that parade. So fingers crossed, there's still some things being worked out, but it's going to be a really fun way to start the event. So you go through the parade, you get down there and have some drumming with different dynamics and the dynamic trio. And then you can come in and start to see all the resource fair offerings, all the arts and entertainment. And I know Emily's got a great list of some of those resource fair presenters and also some amazing sponsors that we want to be sure to recognize.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. We have a lot of tables signed up so far. We're really excited about all the different resources and activities they'll be bringing you during the event. And then I did want to give a special shout out. We've got some great sponsors this year. St. Louis Office for Developmental Disability Resources, Center for Human Services are sponsoring, in addition to bringing their trailer that we already mentioned that Annie talked about. Paraquad, UMKC, Firefly, Worldwide Technology Foundation, all great sponsors. I also want to just shout out a thank you to St. Louis Art, because you just heard they're coordinating the Pride Walk and also our big sensory space. We're actually going to have multiple sensory spaces at this event, so that's wonderful. But they're coordinating our big sensory room. Artists First with the art activity, Duo Dogs, Starkloff, Mind's Eye, who's organizing the Beat Ball. So many people coming together to make this happen, whether it's through sponsoring or through setting up an activity or a space for us.
Yeah. We have talked about so much so quickly, but I want to take a minute. One of the things that I remember Joan Lipkin talking about last year, Joan's very active with us in Festibility and that Uppity Theater Company, but she was really pointing out joy, how important it is to celebrate joyfully. And I think that things have been difficult in our community for the last year. So a big part of our festival is having this space where you can come and just feel great about yourself and celebrate with other people, speak up for yourself and make sure you're registered to vote, do something fun in the art space, but really feel happy. And I know, Emily, you've got a story. Annie and Sean, I'm wondering if you can just tell us along the way here any kind of experience you've had at Festibility that really made you feel joyful, you felt connected to the disability community. I'm going to start with Emily because I remember her story from last year, and then I'll turn to you if you've got anything to add.
I will share that story with you. And I also want to say thank you for mentioning Joan Lipkin, because that Uppity Theater Company, I meant to mention them. They are organizing the children's storytelling and the book giveaway. So I wanted to, and the Celia performance. So thank you to them. Yeah, the story I love to share is from, I don't remember if it was the first year or the second, but it was one of the earliest years. And we collected some feedback and we were just talking to people. And one of the little girls who passed by said, this was the first time she had been at an event and felt like she wasn't being stared at, and that it was just a place that she could just be. And what's more joyful than just feeling like you can be, right? With no judgments and no preconceived notions or anything like that. So that's just something that I remember her every time we plan this event, and how important it is for people to have spaces where they can just exist as themselves.
I'll share mine, and then Annie, I'm going to come to you. Last year I was blown away by Sequig's performance, and it was so wonderful for me to hear somebody who is exceptionally talented rapper, but to really his words about the experience of autism and being proud of who he was, and watching all the other people in the audience dancing and fist pumping and really being excited about it was really a highlight for me. And I'm very excited that he's going to be back this year.
Yeah, it's probably definitely one of my favorite events of the year. I just like coming and seeing so many people that I know from like all different aspects of, like groups or just life in general, because the disability community is kind of a small Small one, but it's a good one to be a part of, and I just love seeing everyone coming together, having a good time, enjoying food trucks and music, performances, arts and crafts, learning more about organizations people may not have ever heard of before. It's pretty cool that we offer that. Um, so yeah, it's just a great positive event to be a part of.
Yeah, I think that that happens again at any Pride festival. I think people just love to run into people that they know that are part of that group and that they can celebrate together and be a part of that. And Sean says he will always brag about being able to do the chauffeur job when we had our incredible 2023 headliner, Allie Stroker. For you, those of you that have been under a rock and don't know Allie, she is a Tony Award winning Broadway star, amazing, amazing person. It was a dream come true for Sean to get to know an A-lister in our community, and it's a year I'll never forget. And sharing the stage with her was amazing. That's pretty joyful right there. I agree. I've got another question, and I'd love Annie and Sean to maybe jump in on this. We're talking a lot about disability culture, disability pride. Is it okay for allies to come and enjoy the festival?
Yes, for sure. Everyone's welcome to come. Allies are totally welcome to attend.
Excellent. I think it's important that everybody knows that the welcome is big. The welcome is wide. Everybody should come. And you'll learn a lot about the disability community. And I think it's always exciting to see people in leadership roles in the disability community and see them doing what they do best. So this is a really great place to see that. I'll just say it's really been fun for me to be a part of the festivality board. Our board membership is probably half and half people with identified disabilities and people that haven't identified themselves as having disabilities. And I think we are a great team that have figured out some really smart ways to work together and be successful. I'm just going to say that if you want to still try and get a sponsorship table, we are going to drop the link in the chat here for you to be an exhibitor, a sponsor, or to just tell us that you're going to come and walk in the parade. We also have a volunteer form. I haven't talked much about volunteers, but for this festival to really be successful, it really takes a good couple dozen volunteers minimum to get out and help people have the best time ever. So we want you to come and have fun volunteering with us. And then you can always find us on Facebook. Sean will be putting out regular updates as we approach the October 4th date. Saturday, October 4th, the event starts at 9:30 if you're going to parade and goes until 3, but you can come and go and enjoy the parts that are most important to you. It's in the History Museum building. Most everything's inside this year, although you'll have the trailer with the accessible space and bathrooms and the food trucks outside. There's still things that we're working on, so you may come and find some surprises. So come and see what we still are able to put together in the final few weeks as we're getting close. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.